everyone, and welcome to my channel where today we are experiencing Final Fantasy XVI. The demo has released today, and the only reason I'm doing this is because the demo progress carries over to the main game. I was like, I can wait, because the game's coming out in less than 2 weeks. It's so close, but the fact that the demo progress carries over, I'm like, okay, you got me. I'm going to play it, and I need to check it out. And I'm a lifelong Final Fantasy fan. I've played them ever since I could hold a controller. There's plenty of Final Fantasy games I haven't actually played yet because there are so many, but I am a dedicated fan of the series, and the fact that we are almost seemingly entering a new golden era of Square, like the days of old where we're getting Final Fantasy games, like mainline big Final Fantasy games, within a year of each other. We have Final Fantasy 16 and then Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth like right around the corner, and that is unbelievable, along with a plethora of other rumors of other Final Fantasy titles potentially being remade or remastered coming out as well. And then we've also got Final Fantasy 14, which I've played a little bit of. I'm up to Heavensward at the moment, but it's just on the back burner for me, and I fully intend to dive back into that one eventually too. There's just so much good stuff happening at the moment. So the Final Fantasy 16 demo is out. We're going to jump in. We're going to check it out. I am massively hyped for this game. I can't believe that it's come out so soon after being revealed as well. That's another really amazing sort of turnaround in this sense, because there's been such a sort of thing with Square Enix where they announce a game and everyone goes, I can't wait for this to come out in like 5 to 10 years, you know, and it's like, and that was kind of the thing. And Final Fantasy 15, you know, when it was announced as Versus 13, only perpetuated that whole mess, and it feels like we're in a good place here. We're entering a new era of Square Enix, and I'm super excited. So let's jump in to the first act. This demo features several chapters of Final Fantasy XVI's first act. All saved progress can be carried over to the main game. We hope you enjoy your time in Valisthea. I'm hoping I pronounced that right. Valisthea. Or Valisthea. We'll see. Okay. Final Fantasy 16. Man, we've got our config options. The sensitivity seems pretty low, but that's the default, so I'm not sure. Let's just bump that up a little bit, because that's also down. I'm going to do that off, because we're obviously recording the gameplay, so no controller audio. We've got subtitles, which is important. And I'll find out the controls when we jump into the game. Love it. New game. Alright, we got our system settings. We will prioritize frame rate. On-screen waveform that provides visual representation of in-game sounds and music. I think we can do without that. Gameplay focus. Begin the game equipped with several accessories that simplify gameplay, recommended for those players who are less comfortable with action games and wish to focus more on the game's story elements. And action focus is begin the game with standard equipment, recommended for those players who are comfortable with action games. We'll go with the standard. We'll do action focused. Final confirmation. Sounds good to me. Hello, it's Mapokalops checking in from the future here, post episode recording, just to lay down a couple of things real quick. As you can see, my webcam's in a slightly different position. I will change it at some point in this episode, as there's a couple of text things that come up just behind my webcam. And also, this game introduces something called Active Time Law, an ATL, at some point, and it pops up like an hour in to the game when so much has already happened story-wise, and as a result, being like taught about that gameplay mechanic that you can actually engage with lore, like during cutscenes, during gameplay, to like get information about where you currently are. We miss some of it as a result, because it doesn't even give us that information until much later into the demo. So at the end of this episode, There is going to be the lore pieces that we have missed, because I'm going to add them onto the end. It wouldn't make sense to like insert them in contextually when they're relevant to pop up, because me, who played the demo, isn't aware of the lore at the time, so it'd just be kind of weird. So at the end of the episode, the lore that we missed and we didn't get to read will be collected and we'll go through it together. That's all I wanted to say. I'll let you get back to the demo now. Let's jump in.
It was Moss the Chronicler who said that the land of Valisthea is blessed in the light of the Mother Crystals, and that it was this light which finally led our forebears out of the darkness. Yet, what they saw in the light gave rise to temptation. Temptation that ever lures us back into the crystal shadow. And thus did our journey begin.
This is so sick. Ifrit versus Phoenix. Whoa. Okay, straight in. Oh, I'm playing as the Phoenix. Cool. I was gonna say, it's like when Gandalf and the Balrog are like falling. Except I'm a Phoenix instead. God, this music. What a way to start. Okay, we start with a... God, start with a primal fight. I can't remember what they're called in this game, because I'll be honest, I actually haven't looked at any recent videos or marketing at all. I've watched the first initial trailers that came out and was like, that's it, I'm sold, that's all I need. So I haven't looked into any of the recent like gameplay showcases or any of the information that's come out, because I just want to experience it in the game. Oh, cool transition. Year of the Realm 873. Nysa Defile, the Dalmekian Republic.
It'll be light soon. Both camps have begun to stir.
You all know the target. Shiva's dominant. And only the dominant.
No one else? Where's the fun in that? How do we even know the girl will be among them?
Our kind do not question orders. We follow them. Try to keep that in mind. Let's get this done.
That's cool. Casting water to put out the fire. Oh, this looks pretty. I gotta say though, for a dev team named Creative Business Unit 3, it's not a very creative name, is it? Whenever I see that on screen, I'm like, yes, Creative Business Unit 3. God, it is gorgeous, though.
Focus, Wyvern. You are key to this mission's success.
Yes, Sergeant.
I believe that this is the team behind Final Fantasy XIV, and that was kind of like a lot of the hype surrounding it. Okay, we're right in. Ooh, we're right into gameplay. Oh, let's go. Okay. Yeah, I believe that this is like primarily the Final Fantasy XIV team, and that's why there was a lot of like hype surrounding this, because Final Fantasy XIV is in a really beautiful spot right now. God, it is gorgeous. Oh, questions. The main menu. Thank you. Pop-ups.
Don't have time for this. All hell is about to break loose.
We don't have time for this, and I can't sprint though. I will slowly walk.
Time to move.
There we go.
We're just in time.
Ooh, okay. I believe that we've seen some of this from the very first trailer. The Republican Army's front lines. I love that we're seeing actual blood as well. Damn. The magic fire catapults. I remember watching this in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I love the Final Fantasy prelude theme mixed in with this music.
Going? They won't need this new dominant of theirs. What?
Zenitra Stronghold. I might move my... because a lot of the information that's popping up on the screen seems to be
Your swords for our cause.
right where I am, so I might just bump myself up here.
Marshal, the King of Waloed is our guest.
King of Waloed.
And you have His Majesty's answer.
Oh, that's cool. The king's like water bearer. I'm liking seeing like the magic that's being just so casually used here.
I wonder that you summoned us at all. Have you so little faith in your own men? It was the Dalmex who drove back the Crusaders in the Battle of the Twin Realms, was it not? Or am I mistaken? Besides, your dominant has yet to take the field.
Oh, that's Titan.
And when he does, our knights would only get in the way.
That's Titan.
Perhaps you have not heard, but the Ironblood now have their own dominant. We would be fools to underestimate them.
Bugger their knights.
What did you say?
Should this citadel be allowed to fall, the capital will lie exposed. And I doubt the Crusaders will wait for the good king's pawns to line up before taking to the board.
The disrespect, man. The disrespect.
Just leaves me.
Trupka!
The Iron Blood will rule the day they set foot on Storm. This game is over.
You cock.
Benedicta.
Oh, okay.
Take care.
Does the lion take care when he chases the hare? Or do you think me one of the latter?
No, my love. You are a lion. You're my lion.
I'm not afraid of a little frost, Benedicta. But I will need someone to warm me when I come home.
All right, then.
The front lines are gone. This is our chance. The chaos will conceal us.
Final Fantasy X Game of Thrones, let's go. So judging by the first couple of trailers that they showed, I believe it was like you could really kind of clearly see that there are people that can take the form of like the summons, the primals, the eidolons, whatever you want to refer to them as. I can't remember what they're called in this game. I think it was might be on the controls. Iconic? Is it those? It might be iconic. Ready iconic abilities, or that might be something else. Cycle icons. I think they might be icons. Maybe. I guess we'll get to that when we get to it. But whatever they're called in this game, you were able to like transform into them, and I guess that's what the dominants are called, because you can easily identify that guy as the Titan primal. Shiva is out here somewhere, and then I think that the character that can transform into Phoenix is like a boy named Joshua or something. So that's what I've kind of gleaned from those earlier trailers. But in terms of actually going into in-depth story stuff, any gameplay that's been shown off, I've purposefully like sat back and avoided it because I just want to like experience it in the game itself, because I just know that I'm gonna be enraptured. I've moved the webcam up like a little bit. Hopefully the text that's popping up on the left hand side of the screen will be right underneath me now. If not, I'll just bump it up a little bit further, but that's giving like necessary context to like locations and stuff. And I have been saying it out loud when I've seen it, but you know, probably better to be able to read it as well, because some of it's spelt in a way that I don't know how to pronounce yet. It's all so brand new to me, but this game looks gorgeous. Very, very mature take straight off the bat.
And quick and deadly.
As always. Take the van.
Wait. Something's not right.
There he is.
Titan. So the Darmaks finally grew tired of being slaughtered.
And look who's here to greet the bastard.
Here we go. We get to see a meeting.
Come on.
This is so cool. God, I love how beautiful like summons are in the lore of Final Fantasy across every game. They're just always so incredible. This music is insane. Chocobo Knights! God damn, imagine going to war with a Titan stomping right on top of you. Look at that design. Final Fantasy is so cool, man. If I could show childhood me this footage, I would be bouncing off the walls. Ooh, super speed.
You don't get to die here, Wyvern. Move!
Let's go. That's so seamless. God damn, jumps right into it. Wow. I remember I used to watch the Final Fantasy VIII introduction, like the opening movie for Final Fantasy VIII, over and over and over again, because I just thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen, and the graphics were insane. Same with like Final Fantasy X, like I would just watch those like movie scenes over and over again. If I could show my childhood self, like even Final Fantasy 15 and 16's level of detail, my god.
Anytime, Wyvern.
I'm going. I'm just admiring the graphical fidelity of the game, sir. Right, proper Englishman. Dude, the transitions into, like, the gameplay and, like, the cutscenes are really well done.
You're just gonna stand there?
And we've got the frame rate priority graphics settings on, and the game is obviously still ridiculously pretty. Because it's Final Fantasy, and that's what they do. This feels like this might be their most action-oriented, like, or action-focused game yet. Oh, shit! Oh, man. Man's got crushed. Man's gone. Like, Final Fantasy 15 is action RPG.
Wyvern! Wyvern!
But this feels like even more so. Whoa.
I told you before, you do not get to die here.
Shit.
Clive! Get up, Clive!
Hey, you. You're finally awake. Oh, are we flashbacking? "13 summers earlier, year of the realm 860. 7 years earlier. Rosalith. I think those pop-ups need to be on screen for longer.
Well, if you're not cut out to be a shield, there's always work for you in the stables. Unless, of course, you think you can defend your master while sat on your arse in a puddle of pig swill.
I'm sure he'd find a way. My brother always looks after me. Right?
Go on. You're sure to hit him eventually.
Don't give up now.
Ah yes, the wooden swords.
It wouldn't do to disappoint the gallery.
Combat training. Kingdom Hearts 1 style with the wooden sword. Damn, okay.
Let's start again from the beginning. Come, show me your form.
Attack the Lord Commander. Square to perform a melee attack. Up to 4 attacks can be chained together. God, this is nice. I just want to look at all these environments and get lost in it. Dude, the air attacks. Nice.
Very good. Such swordsmanship will serve you well in the field. But can the same be said of your spellcraft? The flames of the Phoenix burn within you. Now let them burn without.
Oh no, hang on.
Come, Clive. Rain fire down upon me.
Oh, hang on. I think the child might be Ifrit, not the Phoenix. I think our character might be the Phoenix. Press triangle to cast fire, a ranged spell that can strike enemies from great distances. Yeah, I think Joshua might be Ifrit, not Phoenix. I mixed that up.
Keep them coming. Well done. You wield the Firebird's flames just as a first shield should.
You flatter me, my lord.
Or would you rather I flattened you?
Mm-hmm.
Can be arranged.
Unless we have the power of the Phoenix through Joshua, I don't know.
After all, your attacking prowess will count for naught if you don't live long enough to use it.
That's me just trying to remember an older trailer. Lord Rossfield. So Clive Rossfield? R1 to evade. Okay, interesting. Evading an attack at the precise moment it is dealt will temporarily slow the enemy, making it more susceptible to counter. Okay. So dodge with R1.
Oh, to be so young and fleet of foot.
I'm gonna do a perfect dodge.
Come on!
There you go. Nice. Precision dodge.
Good. Remember, Clive, your blade is not your only weapon. Quickness of thought and fleetness of foot are indispensable arms in any shield's arsenal. But you are not just any shield, are you? Show me what sets you apart from the rest. You have been blessed by the Phoenix, granted the use of its power. Call upon that power now to close on me.
Okay.
Well, I'm waiting.
Close the gap. Execute a Phoenix Shift 3 times. The blessing of the Phoenix grants Clive the ability to perform feats of inhuman strength and dexterity. Phoenix Shift is one such iconic feat. Yeah, I think they are called the Iconics. Which is such a Final Fantasy way of spelling that word, and I love it. It's great. Press circle to swiftly close in on a distant target. Both melee and ranged attacks can be used while executing a Phoenix Shift. Cool, okay.
Good. Fly at your foe before he can raise his guard.
Cool.
Impressive. But even the most agile shield cannot hope to escape every blow. And death may come by a handful of cuts as easily as it comes by 1,000. There is only one way to ensure that you do not fall. Keep your wounds mended and your energies replenished. Speaking of which, my lord, you seem a little worse for wear. Now that won't do at all.
Mend your wounds. Consumable items such as potions and tonics can be used to restore Clive's HP or temporarily boost attributes. Item shortcuts. Consumables can be assigned to up, right, down via the items tab in main menu for quick and convenient use. These items can also be used directly from the menu. Nice. Very easy. I wonder what the left D-pad button does, if anything.
That's better. Battle is a succession of pivotal moments, wherein life and death can be decided at a single stroke. You must be ready to utilize every tool at your disposal if you are to navigate a path to victory, or at the very least, to ensure that you live to fight another day. Enough practice. It's time for the test. You've recovered from your soaking, I trust. You wouldn't want to kick a man while he's drowned.
I thought you'd never ask.
Come then, Lord Rosfield. Spar with me. If you believe yourself worthy to be called Shield of the Flame, then prove it.
As you wish, my lord.
Right, proper fighting time. Let's beat up the Lord Commander.
Have at me, boy. Make proof of your strength.
Battle theme. Final lesson. Breaking an opponent's will. The will gauge indicates an opponent's will to fight back. Break their spirit by landing attacks and strike them when they are vulnerable.
Go on. You're sure to beat him this time.
You can do it, Clive. Just stay calm.
I'm gonna have to get used to the dodge being on R1.
Ah, you're taking this seriously.
Keep going, Clive.
Whoa, counter? Okay. It is staggered. Staggering your enemies. Lord Murdoch's will has been broken, leaving him staggered. Try dealing as much damage as you can before he regains his senses. Use R2 and square to execute Rising Flames, a powerful iconic ability granted Clive by the blessing of the Phoenix. Oh, damn. God damn.
Took my own advice and used all the tools at my disposal.
Go on, Clive. Keep pressing.
Just
keep pressing.
We believe in you.
You're a damnably quick learner, Lord Rosalith.
Not quite. You lose.
Cinematic finish. Training complete. Dude, that's so sick. Combat feels fluid. It feels liquid, baby. Like, very nice. It feels really good. It controls beautifully.
He won! See? I told you he could do it.
Aye.
Bested at last. It's taken me long enough. That was a display worthy of your father. You are a true shield of the flame, and let no one tell you otherwise. Including me. What are you lot gawping at? Back to your drills.
I think he's got the Phoenix Flame, and he healed him, right?
Joshua.
Phoenix boy.
I was just tired. The Phoenix's flames are a gift. You mustn't waste them.
It isn't a waste. My shields look after me. Why shouldn't I?
That's why. You were coughing this morning too. You shouldn't be outdoors.
I'll be fine. It's just a cold.
Don't push yourself.
His Grace has returned!
Father's back.
Hey.
Is that girl Shiva then? Or just someone else?
Please, this is no place for one such as you. I would gladly brave hell itself to see my darling boy. Gentlemen, Rosaria thanks you for your indefatigable loyalty.
Indefatigable.
Your Grace, we live to serve.
Joshua. You should not be out of doors. We have discussed this.
I'm sorry.
Good day to you, Mother.
Ooh.
Come, Joshua. Your father will be expecting us.
That ice-cold stare.
Lord Murdoch?
Your Grace.
What a way to treat your own flesh and blood.
I know. It's not his fault. Not everyone can be born the Phoenix.
Okay. He's the ugly duckling.
We should join them.
Shunned by the mother. Mother dearest, I need your approval. Why must Joshua be the favorite? These environments look gorgeous. Everything is so incredible. This is a very tight and beautiful experience. Feels good, looks good, sounds good. I'm feeling pumped. God damn. Look at that majestic steed. Dude, the detailing on all of the outfits here, like, incredible.
Rise, my friends.
Welcome home, Father.
Oh shit. He's
Thank
dead.
you, Joshua. You are well, I trust.
Yes, Father. Much better. Today, Jill and I went to the Bailey to watch Clive's spa.
Is that so?
Quiet, Torgal. Stop it, boy.
Torgal.
You'll make a fine hound one day.
Father.
Lift up your head, girl.
Thank you, Your Grace.
The capital rejoices at your safe return, Your Grace.
War is coming, my boy. We must make ready.
Is the situation truly so grave?
Come to the throne room. We will talk there.
Yes, Father. Your Grace.
Shields dismissed.
I feel like our father's gonna get Sean Beaned.
Torgal.
He gives me Jet vibes from Final Fantasy X when he did like the punch on the chest. I was like, I don't know, it just feels totally Jet-like.
Where do you think you're going? Clive here is off to see the Archduke.
Right.
Okay, so my father is the Archduke. Sunrise, sunset. I wonder what our relationship with our father is like. It seems a little bit better than the relationship with our mother. Finding your way. Should you find yourself lost, do not fret. Hold down L3 and trust in your animal instinct to point you in the right direction. Your current destination will be displayed with an icon. Animal instinct. Okay.
I'm not sure. I need to speak with Father.
God, this is so sick. The game is very, very pretty. The voice work is very nice. I know a lot of people like to play Final Fantasy games like with the Japanese voice cast. Like, I I get torn sometimes because Final Fantasy 15 is almost like kind of a completely different vibe if you play it in Japanese compared to English, because there's stuff like Ignis, his whole personality is kind of a little bit different in Japanese than it is in English. But I'm very happy with this, how the voice cast is sounding.
Skilled warriors. You could learn a thing.
Okay, the subtitles for other characters are going to be down here on the bottom as well. So I'm learning where all of like the UI is going to be, which helps me determine where my webcam should be. Chocobos look so good, and I actually love that we're going back to like traditional classic fantasy stuff. This feels like a Final Fantasy IX moment for the series, where they moved into like Final Fantasy 7 and 8 were my first two Final Fantasy games, and obviously they were moving way more into like different genres than the classic fantasy, and Final Fantasy 9 took it back, and then Final Fantasy 10 did a very cool and weird thing. Final Fantasy 12 is one of my favorite Final Fantasy settings of all time. I love Ivalice. I grew up with Final Fantasy 12 and Final Fantasy Tactics Advance on my Game Boy. I haven't played Final Fantasy Tactics on PlayStation or Vagrant Story, and I know that both of those games take place in Ivalice, so those are definitely on my to-do list one day, because it's, yeah, one of my favorite settings for sure. And then obviously we went through 13 and 15 going in the way that they went, so it's cool that we're back in like a very traditional sort of medieval fantasy setting. Looks great. And I do like that we can still have a mixture of like futuristic style Final Fantasy and this, and it all works. Right you are, lad. Oh, items automatically like go to you. All right. You don't have to pick them up. That's nice. What have I picked up? A potion.
Well, this is it, lads. Time to put an end to their little crusade. And Rosaria's future will be secure.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's going to happen from now to 7 years later that's going to put Clive in his situation. Where he gets a nice little face tat to be part of a cool gang. And he looks more badass. Oh. Actually, this guy's got the tattoo. Interesting. Maybe the tattoo is not limited to being a badass club, but it's actually some sort of
Forgive me,
brand.
Marquis, pray do not concern yourself with this bungling cur. Bow to him, you fool. But I say to speak.
Oh, interesting.
It was no trouble, really.
Oh, do not indulge him. To be allowed to stand in your lordship's presence is more than his kind deserves. Why, neither the Empire nor the Republic treat their bearers half so well. He was lucky to be born in your father's dominion. Very lucky, as I remind him every day.
Stand, please.
Stand.
I trust his good fortune will continue.
Of course, if that is your lordship's wish.
Don't work too hard. Remember, it is for the good of the duchy that you serve.
As do we all, my lord.
Okay.
As do we all.
Come along now. Back to your duties.
So that mark on the face is like a brand of like shame almost, or, you know, one to be looked down upon. It's not a cool kids club symbol. It's a, you guys are in the shit. There you go, okay. So, which means something happens to throw him in some sort of situation with a bunch of other guys that are all, like, doing the dirty work. I thought that it was going to be, like, some sort of, like, Final Fantasy Black Ops squad. They're, like, slipping in to check out what's going on, you know?
Make sure you get a good edge on that, eh?
I know! I'm not about to send our lads off to war with dull blades!
Before we go the direction that we're supposed to go, I want to get all the details in. Oh, hang on. This dude's got one of the tatties as well. I'm not... Okay.
Preparation is key. We must be ready to march at any time.
You don't need to tell this one. She's raring to go.
She's heard this speech before.
Cool. Alright, so that dude in the hood's got one of the tattoos. Oh, here we go. We get more of a main menu now. We can see everything. Yes. Give it to me. Let me see what we've got in here. Rosarian Oath. Upon joining the ducal army, all future shields receive a longsword that not only serves as their weapon, but represents the oath they take to defend Rosaria and her people. The blade of this particular weapon is approximately a hand shorter than those used by most, making it more suitable for a squire not yet fully grown. A Rosarian belt, designed for keeping one's trousers in place, then stopping the head of an axe. Those expecting any discernible protection from this basic accessory will be sorely disappointed. Alright, so we've got gear and then icon stuff. Got our attributes. Rosalith Castle. Oh, hang on. Wait a minute. This is cool. We got the items menu. If you go into the attributes down the party members, they use like the old school sort of sprites in the bottom right. That's cool. Stone Skin Tonic. Delusions of invulnerability. That's funny. I like that. Alright, we've got a journal. Information on main story progress and current and completed side quests. As the Duchy readies itself for war with the Iron Kingdom, its most bitter and long-standing of rivals, so too does Clive prepare to do his duty as First Shield of Rosaria to protect and serve his brother Joshua, Dominant of the Phoenix. Yeah, so he is the Dominant of the Phoenix. And then for a second when he was like, you've got the power of the Phoenix, I was like, wait, am I the Phoenix man? And then is he Ifrit? Because I knew that Joshua was one, based on the trailer. Okay. Active quests. Main scenario progress. It is the year 860, and with the coming of spring does Green once again return to the Grand Duchy of Rosaria. In the Baileys of Rosalith Castle, men who have sworn their swords to their country train in anticipation of coming conflict, and it is here that one young man in particular endeavors to prove himself worthy to ones he loves. To kill a dominant. Oh, I think that this is... This is interesting. Hang on. 873rd year. Okay, so to kill a dominant as dawn breaks over the Nysa defile in the 873rd year of the Valistaean calendar. So I think we're in 870 right now, right? 860. No, 860. So it's been it's 13 years. Okay. I don't know where I got the gap from before. Just like, I'm too excited to process numbers right now. Just everything's like, there's so much. All right, so 860 is where we currently are, and then where we were before 873rd year. So it's been like 13-year gap. In the 873rd year of the Valistaean calendar, the armies of Dalmikia and the Iron Kingdom gather, and their icons, Titan of the Republic and Shiva of the Orthodoxy, make ready to take the field. Meanwhile, high above it all, a small party of branded assassins survey the battlefield like hawks in search of prey. So they are branded, and they are like a black ops squad of like assassins. There you go. Flame summoned, the night burns red as twin titans clash. Dressed in flame, they vie for dominance. One a beacon of hope, the other an aberration, an affront to the very laws of nature. There is no room in this world for both, for there can only be one icon of fire. So that was like the very, very beginning where we were seeing like Phoenix flying, and we were controlling the Phoenix and being attacked by Ifrit. So that's cool to actually see the descriptions of all of these. That's very cool. That's what I was looking for, some sort of like story, written story progress, or codex entries or anything like that.
Ah, they've closed the gates.
Let's hope the side entrance is still open.
I think the reason I got confused with the numbers initially is I think I said 7 years earlier, and that's probably because I saw 8-7, and then I saw 8-6, and I went, oh yeah, it must have been 867.
All right.
No, 873 and 860.
I assure you, my lord, my man and I labor always for the glory of the duchy. I assure you, my lord, my man and I labor always.
Will he attack while I'm standing right in front of him?
You put on quite the show for us, Lord Rosfield. Any man who can do that deserves to be first shield. Age and experience be damned. You put on quite the show for us.
I'm just seeing if there's multiple dialogue.
Any man who can do that deserves to be first shield. Age and experience be damned.
Seems like there's one sort of dialogue.
Forgive me, my lord, but I need to finish inspecting these crystals.
Wouldn't do to give our soldiers spent shards.
Spent shards?
Make sure all the crystals are accounted for.
Is he branded as well? He is, okay. So, being branded is like, obviously like a, you done messed up.
Need to shift this lot before we lose the light.
Okay, classic. So I can't get there yet. I have to wait until they move all the boxes out of the way.
All right.
Alright, I've done my investigations.
Looks like they're getting ready for supper.
I think someone's hungry.
Is this a save point?
I'm having my bearer fill the well. Best to save what crystals we can, eh?
Interesting.
Wheat harvests down again.
I like the crystals being used, we're seeing them used for water.
Fill our bellies while we can then, eh?
Which is very cool. Oh no, hang on, I can get my item this way. This guy should have a brand on his face as well. Yeah, so the ones that are hooded are also branded.
Fine display, my lord. Almost felt sorry for the Lord Commander.
A high potion. Oh, and it's spelt high normally, not HI potion. Nice.
Nice and quiet in here, isn't it?
There's Joshua. This is pretty, man. Wow.
There's Joshua.
That's what I said. I'm looking around first, though. Ooh. Is he using wind to, like, trim the hedges? Wind magic to trim the hedges is fucking amazing. I can't get in there, though. Damn it. I want to... That's so cool. Oh my god, and look at the detail of like being able to track the leaves that are going into that bag. He's using wind magic to shape the hedges. That's neat. Nice, there's a lot of detail here. There's my mother.
Marquis, forgive my man, he'll be done in a jiffy. Just getting the place tidied up for the big procession.
Damn. Hello, Joshua.
Clive,
Are you worried about the war?
the soldiers will expect the Phoenix to help them. But I don't know if I can.
Don't worry, Joshua. Father will guide you. And I will protect you. Always.
I know. Thank you, Clive.
Do you understand? The power of the Phoenix dwells within Joshua, and Joshua alone. If any ill should befall him, it will be on your head. Do not neglect your duties again. Yes, Your Grace.
Duchess Annabella. Wow, you can't even talk to your own mother. That is not a good relationship. Making an effort. Some large gates and stiff levers require extra effort to operate. Use X to access them, then hold R2 to push or pull with all your might. Okay. You need to remember you're playing a video game.
Good luck.
Doggo is so cute. Just a boy and his direwolf, you know?
You commanded my presence, Your Grace. How may I serve you?
All right, you can stop licking my boots. Your mother isn't here.
Do the territories fare any better?
Most lie under a pall of black. In just these few moons, the Blight has taken nigh on all of the northern reaches. It is only a matter of time before it crosses the border.
By the flames.
Nearly every available bed in the capital is already occupied by those fleeing the Deadlands. Even if we were to send them south to Port Isolde, more would only follow in their wake. Every day we delay brings us closer to disaster. We must move now.
Against the Iron Kingdom.
We have traded blows with them for too long. It is time to end it.
At the very least, we must secure Drake's breath. Without the blessing of the Mother Crystal, we cannot defend our realm from the spread of the Blight.
The Iron Blood will not relinquish it easily. This will be a bitter fight.
We ride for Phoenix Gate tomorrow. There we will listen to the words of our ancestors, as tradition dictates.
Am I to go with you as Joshua's shield?
There is something else I would have you do first. Rodney.
You will have heard the reports, I am sure, of beastmen from the north being sighted within our borders.
Goblins in the Stillwind Marshes. I know of the rumors, yes.
Then you know what must be done. I will give you 2 good men. While we ride north tomorrow, you will journey to Stillwind, search it and clear it. Then you will join us at Phoenix Gate.
It is time to prove your strength. And shut your mother up for good.
Okay.
I will do my duty, Your Grace.
That will be all. Rest well. We ride at dawn.
Yes, Your Grace.
Right. Active time law Hold down on the touchpad to access ATL, a compilation of important information relevant to Clive's current storyline progression. ATL can even be viewed during most cutscenes. All ATL entries can be accessed later in the game. That's awesome. Retire to your chambers. Yes. Yes. Okay, we have some lore because we're gonna need it because they're establishing a lot. What is this? Dragon Age? We got to stop the spread of the blight? Let's go. Okay, we can see where we are in Rosalith Castle. Okay, this is very good and very much appreciated. Situated in the heart of the ducal capital of Rosalith, it is from this towering ivory fortress that the Archduke and his family rule their nation, an architectural feat the founder himself would be proud of. The castle has stood since the early days of the duchy and watched over the rise of this proud nation and the people who inhabit the city beneath. Nice. The Mother Crystals. Enormous glassy mountains, 5 of which tower over the lands of Valisthea. They are the source of all the crystals that the people of the Twins rely on in their everyday lives. Not only that, but the lands surrounding them are rich with aether, making the magics the crystals cast even more potent. For these reasons, great nations have sprung up around each Mother Crystal and have long warred with each other for possession of their blessings. The classic Final Fantasy crystals stuff coming back in. The Iron Kingdom, also known as in the local tongue as the Hyran, the Iron Kingdom is an archipelago nation situated off the west coast of Storm, with its capital at Craig Loist. Oh god, how do I say that word? Fantasy terminology. Craig Loistgter. I don't know how to say that, so we're just going to wait until hopefully it's pronounced in the game. It'll probably be like Craig Loist or something. The Mother Crystal, Drake's Breath, rises from a volcanic island situated just within or without its borders, depending on whom you ask, and has been the subject of long-standing conflict between the Iron Blood and the neighboring Duchy of Rosaria. The Iron Kingdom's inhabitants shun any contact with outsiders, which has given rise to a unique, if largely inward-looking culture. Elwyn Rosfield, our father, Archduke of the Grand Duchy of Rosaria and father of Clive and Joshua, loved by his people for his steadfast leadership, both at home and on the battlefield, which he put to good effect in quelling the rebellious northern territories. And the Grand Duchy of Rosaria, a nation occupying the western reaches of the continent of Storm, with Rosalith as its capital. Rosaria was originally formed from a collection of smaller dominions, all of which now stand united under the banner of Archduke Elwyn de Rosfeld. Not possessing a Mother Crystal of his own, the duchy has been locked in a bitter conflict with the Iron Kingdom over possession of Drake's Breath, which lies still further to the west in the midst of the boiling sea. I really appreciate this, that it's giving us relevant lore, relevant information to where we are, and it's not just like an overwhelming amount of things. That's really well done. I like that a lot. And now I can retire to my chambers. Can I just leave as well, I wonder? No. No. The dedicated jump fans will be happy that we've got a dedicated jump button, which is cool, so you can happily hop, skip, and a jump across everywhere, if you'd like.
This war we mean to wage, it isn't only for control of the Mother Crystal. Above all else, we cannot allow those Ironblood savages to gain a foothold on Storm.
I know. I would sooner die than see them darken our shores again. I wish you a safe journey tomorrow.
And I you, Clive. May your blade strike true.
Nice. So there is like dialogue that goes into more of like an actual proper dialogue camera angle.
Get a good night's sleep, Clive. The morrow may ask much of you.
We drove the Iron Blood from our shores once before, but their patriarch still dreams of spreading his message to Storm. And when the Crusaders march, they move a damn sight quicker than the Blight ever did.
So we recapture the Mother Crystal, end their ambitions, and secure the duchy.
Only the light of the Phoenix
can guide us through these dark days. But that does not mean I'm happy asking this of Joshua. Look after him, won't you?
Even if it costs me my life.
Let's make sure it doesn't come to that.
Let's make sure it doesn't come to that.
I'm trusting in you to keep your brother safe.
Why do I feel like it's going to all go horribly wrong or something? To show how we get to depressed emo bad boy branded Clive 13 years later. I can't wait to see more of this world. I cannot wait. I wonder how much we get out of the demo as well. I'm really curious.
No messages, my lord.
No mail for you today. I just wonder how much several chapters of the first act actually means. I'm curious about this relationship.
How long will you be away this time?
Not long. 4 days, maybe 5.
And you will be taking Joshua?
Well, I can't exactly leave him behind, can I? The blood of the Rosfields runs in his veins. Before going to war, we perform the rite at Phoenix Gate. It's our way. You know that. And only the dominant can enter the apothecary, so yes, I'm taking Joshua.
Oh, to hell with your way! The boy is ill.
You think I don't know that? But the boy is also the Phoenix. The heir to the throne. You can't keep him in swaddling clothes all of his life.
Elwyn!
Don't worry. Clive will watch over him. Though he is a youth of but 15 years, he's already a fine soldier. He will make a splendid shield.
You see more in him than the Phoenix did. He was rejected, Elwyn. Our household has no place for such a failure. He is worthless, a man like any other.
As am I, my dear.
Nonsense. You are the Archduke of Rosaria.
Oh, not this again. You know as well as I do that I only sit upon the throne because my father was taken before his time. I am merely warming the seat till Joshua comes of age.
You are your father's firstborn son, and you sit upon the throne. All is in its right place. Unlike some, you have not disgraced our noble blood.
Without men like Clive to keep us safe, your precious noble blood would long since have graced the gutter.
Good father.
We have an early start. I'm going to sleep.
Cool. I'm really interested in that dynamic between this family. That's really awesome. You're like immediately invested in their dynamic. It's really good. Terrible mother.
This is it then. Time to prove yourself.
Wishing on a star?
I'm a little old for that. I should get some sleep.
Right. You're going with them tomorrow, aren't you?
I am Joshua's shield. I'm sworn to protect him. He takes too many risks. I only wish I could save him from himself.
Clive, you...
I have another mission too. Father has given me my first command.
Well, if you're not going to pray to Metia for your safe return, I shall just have to do it for you. There's going to be another war, isn't there? Since coming here, I've begun to take peace for granted. I assumed the war between our nations would be the last. But it never really ends, does it?
No. The next war will be bigger than before.
But you'll be all right, won't you, Clive? You're a shield of Rosaria, after all, and blessed by the Phoenix.
It's getting cold. We should go in. My lady.
Good night, Clive.
My lady. This game's handling sort of like the drama and relationship aspect of things really well. Ooh, what is that red star by the moon? What's that red star by the moon? What is that? I love that the father actually like sticks up for Clive.
Sorry, Ambrosia. I won't be hunting today.
Don't worry. I'm sure you'll do brilliantly.
I'll try.
Good luck.
Friends, we ride for Phoenix Gate. May the blessing of the crystals go with us and shield the Firebird's flame forevermore!
His Grace departs. Open the gates.
Joshua got any chainmail underneath those clothes? Is that man protected at all? He's just wearing cloth.
Lord Rosfield, allow me. I shall see her safely to Phoenix Gate.
Thank you.
We're ready to depart, my lord.
May I say what an honor it is to serve alongside you?
This is to be no mere investigation. If there are goblins in Stillwind, they won't leave willingly. The Beastmen are a fierce foe. We underestimate them at our peril.
Not today, we won't.
Sir Wade, Sir Tyler, let us do our duty.
With pleasure, my lord.
As you command.
To the marshes, then.
You have no idea how much I was almost expecting it to be Sir Biggs and Sir Wedge. I straight up was like, Sir Biggs, Sir Wedge. I really was almost waiting for that moment. They've got to be in here somewhere. They'll be somewhere. The world map displays all the locations indicated by glowing pins currently available to Clive via fast travel. Hell yeah. Okay, let's talk about the cutscenes that just took place because I don't want to talk through them. So the mother, the Duchess, she's horny for noble blood. Like, she was straight up like mounting our father, being like, you're a noble man. And like, he's like, look, you and your noble blood obsession, like, Clive is actually important. So she has such like a fiction. She's very cold, black and white between nobility and the peasants. And he was rejected. So we're like the older son. So clearly it would be like we would be put to the test with the Phoenix. So apparently we were rejected, unworthy of the throne, it seems, or to become the dominant for Phoenix. We still do have the Phoenix's like blessing or power, but when we have been rejected, I guess, to be the actual dominant, and then the next born son, Joshua, was worthy, but is also sick and unwell, and I wonder if that's a side effect of being the dominant at a young age or something like that. But that's why she hates Clive, because she just thinks that he's like worthless trash. I really do like that his father sticks up for him and defends him and appreciates like what he like contributes, which is very nice because he is the same. And that's very nice because she's talking shit on Clive and he's like, he's just like me. Like, we're the same. He's like, no, but you're on the throne, and tries putting the moves on him. And I love that he's like, nah, and doesn't stand for it, just like goes to bed. Really respectable in that sense. And that's like, makes me feel very good that it's not just like the whole family hates this guy. Something is obviously going to happen that's pretty tragic that puts us in that situation 13 years later. Clive will be 28 in that stuff 13 years. So that's cool. He's 15 now. So we get to be highly relatable as he's around my age at that point. So that's very cool. This game is gorgeous. It's beautiful. I'm really engaged with the story and the conflict and everything that's happening immediately. The gameplay is so smooth. Very pleased. Very happy with it. I'm not sure how much of this demo we have. It seems that we'll get some story focus here, and then we're going to Stillwind to go check out some goblin matters with Sir Wade and Sir Tyler. So that's very cool. So we're going to have like an introduction to combat now. I'm not sure how long that goes for, but we will have to see, won't we? And with that one, we'll be bringing this episode of Final Fantasy XVI to a close as we've completed this segment and we move into the next portion of the game, Stillwind. There was a time not long ago that the songs of civilization echoed through Stillwind's knotted bows. Now the settlements lie abandoned, and the only sounds to escape this forsaken place are the howls of beasts that have fled the Deadlands to make the bogs their home. So we'll be checking that one out next time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed our first look at Final Fantasy XVI. Now, while this is the demo, obviously progress is carrying over to the main game, so we can actually count this as part 1 of my Final Fantasy XVI Let's Play that will be continuing on the channel in the second Stillwind portion, and then into the main game itself once it releases. I'm so excited to check this one out. I hope you'll enjoy coming on this journey with me, whether you're a Final Fantasy fan or not, or you might be new to the series, because there are people always looking to jump in at any point in time. I hope you enjoy going on this journey with me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to the end of the video, where we now get into Final Fantasy XVI lore time. The active time lore is available from the very beginning of the game as soon as you can control Clive, which is great. It would be really nice if the active time lore pop-up came up at the beginning, if you might not have been looking at the control scheme to see that it's a button you can press, I suppose. It's just the fact that, you know, obviously it took until many minutes, many cutscenes had passed, all of the relevant story stuff had passed before the game automatically popped up with the ATL information. So here we are at the very beginning, and I will be going through and reading what we've missed. I may end up rereading some information just to have it all collected in one place. It's a little bonus segment at the end of the episode. If you care about story, if you care about lore, here we are. I do wish that there was a compendium, a codex, anything in the main menu. Like when you open up the character menu, it should have this information accessible whenever you need to refresh yourself on it. It's kind of interesting that the information is only available to you in certain gameplay moments or cutscenes, and then it disappears forever. Like even, right, if it was just you open an active time loop, and then there's another button where it takes you to like a sub-menu of previous available lore stuff in the story. That would be great. Alas, we'll have to see if they add it. So let's have a look. The current location is the Nisa Defile, or the Nisa Defile, depending on how this one is pronounced actually. I want to say it's the Nisa Defile, a deep arid valley located in the eastern part of the Dhalmekian Republic. During the Battle of the Twin Realms in 865, it was the site of repeated skirmishes as the Iron Kingdom attempted to make incursions into Dhalmekian territory. Okay, and we've got the Bastards, which is a unit of trained assassins deployed to the Nisa Defile deep within Dhalmekian territory and tasked with the elimination of an enemy dominant. And now we can get some information on the brand here as well, which is the mark applied to the cheeks of bearers, identifying them as something other than human. The great nations of Valisthea have long-standing accord to brand their bearers in this way, that the slaves might be traded across borders. So there you go. It's a branding and a slaving symbol. Something other than human. And obviously we can tell that this is our group that has them. We've seen people in this episode have them as well. And Clive has one, but he didn't 13 years ago. So there you go. He has been branded with it. And then he's really grown into a cooler outfit, a longer haircut. Instead of being a 15-year-old boy, he's a 28-year-old man. Let's continue, and I'll take us to the next amount of active time lore. Alright, we've got some new ones in this cutscene. So you can activate it mid-cutscene, and there's no visual indicator that there's new information that's added. I think what would be cool is just in the top right, just make it very subtle. Put a little thing. Just put a little thing in the corner, out of the way. So there's a little button that you just know. Because I'm looking on the screen, I'm looking for like if there's a little symbol anywhere. I can't see it. And then you're like, I'll just check. And then here it is. So I guess when like events happen, new information comes up. Here it is, and it'll be available to you. But there's no sort of indication to constantly, well, not constantly, but, you know, helpfully remind you, because it's very easy to forget about certain things when, especially in the middle of a cutscene, you might be getting very enraptured in what's taking place, and then the cutscene might end, and then the lore disappears, you know? But here we go. The Iron Crusade, the fighting forces of the Iron Kingdom. Ultimate command rests with the king, who issues orders directly to the commanders of each of his battalions. Ironblood soldiers generally prefer heavy clubs and great axes over swords and other lighter weapons. This rather brutal approach is indicative of their overall attitude, which has earned them a reputation on the continent as savage, if somewhat primitive, warriors. In the Dhalmekian Republic, a nation formed from a federation of 5 smaller states. It is located in the southern half of the continent of Storm and has its capital at Randella. It is also home to the mother crystal known as Drake's Fang. There is no official state religion, and citizens are free to worship as they please. Dhalmekia's key political entity is the Parliament, which is formed of ministers representing each of the states, with the Prime Minister at its head. There you go. It's a cool image. I kind of wish you could, like, zoom in to see like a higher quality if it's going to show some artwork like that. That is the Iron Crusade and the Dhalmekian Republic. So you're not going to believe this, but 20 seconds, probably not even 20 seconds later, we have a new one, and it replaces another one. It has actually replaced the Dhalmekian Republic. So that's not even here anymore. So not only this feels like a messy system now in hindsight. So not only is there an encouragement to pause your cutscenes and disrupt the way that it flows to read, but it's inaccessible afterwards. And there are things that you can literally miss in the same cutscene. It's not like you get to an end of the cutscene and you can pop it open and review. I've actually just lost context. For someone who really likes to read codex and lore entries, this kind of hurts because it makes me not want to do it. It's not very user friendly because I would rather sit down and engage in the cutscene and leave this alone. But what sucks about that is you miss out crucial information, like the brand stuff is actually very important. I went through this episode questioning what that was, and you can find out that right at the beginning, like it's told to you. So this is a bit of a frustration point because, like I said, if there was like a main menu to be able to access this or a sub menu when you can check when things have already gone, perfect, no issues, because I would just do that. The fact that we can actually see and witness lore entries get removed and replaced by something else in the same cutscene is pretty bad. So this is the Men of the Fist. This is Dhalmikia's standing army. While officially an organ of the Republic, each of its 5 states is granted relative autonomy with regard to the management of its troops. Aside from certain specialized squads, battle deployments are mostly comprised of small units employing a mixture of foot soldiers and battle mages. The former are known and feared for their curved swords and prodigious axes and the deadly skill with which they wield them. Okay, so on the topic of active time lore, because we're at the end of the episode and we are really diving into it, I have decided to actually look into this. So I have gone, surely there must be other people sharing these same thoughts. And while we can recognize that this is an amazing system to implement in terms of getting engaged with the story and learning about things, and I agree, I think this is great. Something that can be the problem is getting notified that you've got new entries. So I have actually looked into this. What I have found is there is notifications if you get new entries. However, you have to pause the cutscene and it's down here. And then you can go into active time lore, but you have to pause the cutscene to then find out. You can't just activate it. And then another thing which is actually quite crucial and important, which is literally ties into my point about there being a menu or a collection of all of the information, is apparently in the main game, not the demo, but in the main release, there will be a vendor or a person that allows you to go back through all of the information. So it should all be accessible to us later via some sort of system. I didn't look too far into it because I didn't want to get all those details. I just wanted to find out if I was going crazy over this system. So that is kind of reassuring, at least. So you are able to get the context and the lore in the moment. If you miss it, you'll probably end up like I was in this episode, being like, what the hell did the brands do? And then you kind of run with that for a while, not knowing that the information's been available to you for some time. So it's a cool system. But I think a little bit of tweaking would be great. Like maybe something down the bottom of the screen notifying us without having to pause the cutscene that there was some lore. It's going to be interesting to manage this from a lore perspective and a Let's Play perspective, because I think constantly pausing to check for new entries is really disruptive to cutscenes and narratives. And like if I'm in the middle of doing a recording and we're all, engaged in the story together, I could think of nothing worse than like this. You know what I mean? Like as an example, right? Like someone says a word, someone goes, the dominant, and you go, oh shit, I got to check that, and then it's like someone constantly like pausing a movie, that kind of feeling. That's my little gripe with it, I think, because like we've seen, there are some entries that can get replaced mid cutscene instead of just doing a review at the end. But we'll take it we'll take it as it comes and see how it goes. Fort Zernitra, a stronghold situated at the western end of the Nisa defile in the Dalmatian Republic. In the year 873, it served as the site of a meeting convened by the Dalmatians and their Waloda allies in an attempt to enlist their aid in driving back the Ironblood, who had been a thorn in their side since the Battle of the Twin Realms 8 years before. The Kingdom of Waloed, so pronounced Waloed, the sole surviving nation in Ash. Waloed has its capital at Stonehere, home to the Mother Crystal of Drake's Spine, a warlike land. Its considerable military might serves to keep neighboring countries at bay, while Waloed does maintain a notional alliance with the Dalmatian Republic in Southern Storm. It is very much a marriage of convenience. Stonehere, Stoneher, however that is pronounced. Fantasy names, always a gamble until you hear it spoken. The dominant, those within whom sleeps the power of an icon. That's a sentence. Those within whom sleeps the power of an icon. Though they look and think no differently to any other man or woman, they can not only cast elemental magics without a crystal, but also transform themselves into beasts of world-shattering strength at any moment, a quality for which they are honored, worshipped, and feared the realm over. We have the Battle of the Twin Realms. The Battle of the Twin Realms was a conflict fought between the Holy Empire of Sanbreque and the Kingdom of Waloed in the year 865. Sanbrequois forces with the power of the icon Bahamut on their side. Okay, Sanbrequois has Bahamut. Took the Strait of Altha back from Waloed, putting an end to a blockade that had lasted several decades. The Waloeders, looking to hold back the Sanbrequois advance by any means necessary, formed an alliance with the Dalmatian Republic, who themselves were waging war against the Iron Kingdom on the Western Front and prevented the Empire from progressing any further. Cool. And then you can see that it pops back in again, like the Dalmatian Republic, so certain things can pop in and out of the active time lore. Titan, the Warden of Earth, of whom Hugo Kupka is the current dominant. He takes the form of a stone-skinned giant whose granite fists shake the earth with every mighty pummel. Titan's dominant awakens among the peoples of the Dalmatian deserts, the recipient of his strength being granted great power and status by the Republic in return for a commitment to protect the nation in times of war. Hugo Kupka. Cupcake Man becomes the Titan. It's a sick design, though. I love what's going on. Whatever the hell's going on around that jawline. It's such a cool design. Something I really appreciate as well is you pop up Titan and it has like the Dalmatian Republic symbol. So it shows like affiliation of groups, which is great. And then when we have a look, it's like the bestiary up the top there, which is great. Shiva, the Warden of Ice, whose appearance on the battlefield makes her enemy's blood run cold. The Iron Blood sent Shiva against the Republican forces in the Nisa Defile, where she dueled against Titan, the Icon of Earth. Now, we don't have a reveal for who Shiva's dominant is. I'm not sure on groups, so we can't really, I guess we can't really decide. I don't think we've been introduced to if we know them yet. It's gonna be Clive's mother. But we'll see. Shiva and Titan look amazing, but obviously we have seen the dominant of who Titan is. It's easy to identify immediately, but Shiva's is currently unknown. Clive Rosfield, firstborn son of Archduke Elwyn, ruler of Rosaria. From a young age, Clive dedicated himself to mastering the blade, and his practice paid off when he was appointed First Shield of Rosaria, tasked to guard the Phoenix, and blessed with the ability to wield a part of his fire. Rodney Murdoch, Lord Commander of the Rosarian army. Not only is he a skilled warrior and a loyal guardian of the Rossfield household, he is also a fine tutor. Indeed, it was he who trained Clive in the secrets of swordplay. While he may be a hard taskmaster, his belief and trust in the shields that serve under him make him a much-loved leader. The blessing of the Phoenix. The boon Joshua bestowed upon his brother upon Clive's ordination as first shield, allowing him to wield fire-aspected magic without a crystal. It has long been custom in Rosaria for the dominant of the Phoenix to share part of their power in this way, performing the rite of rejuvenation upon those they appoint as their protectors that they might serve them the better. That's pretty cool, so you can, like, pass on some of that power to people if they are in your service. Title granted to the mightiest and most stalwart shield of the Rosarian army. The first shield is entrusted with the personal protection of the dominant of the Phoenix and is gifted a portion of the icon's power over flame, a boon known as the blessing of the Phoenix. Second son of the Archduke of Rosaria, Joshua was appointed heir to the ducal throne by virtue of his awakening as the dominant of the Phoenix. His love and admiration for his elder brother Clive is absolute, and he is only too proud to have him serve as his first shield. His love for carrots, less so. Got Annabella Rosfield, we've got the mother, Duchess of Rosaria, wife of Archduke Elwyn, and mother to Clive and Joshua. While she adores her younger son, she treats Clive and Jill with naught but thinly veiled contempt. So we've got Jill Warwick. So not a Rosfeld, which felt pretty obvious, but there was this was actually a connection that I wanted to explore further when we saw them in cutscenes, because I'm like, similar hair, is it like a sister? But they're not really referred to as a sister. She's just kind of there. So this is good that I now know that the active time lore is here, so we can actually get this answer. So born a princess of the Northern Territories, Jill was made a ward of Rosaria after her homeland's incessant raids were quelled by the duchy. She was raised in Rosalith Castle alongside Clive and Joshua, who came to love her as a sister. So basically adopted sister, but from the Northern Territories. Very interesting. But then sort of possesses, almost looks like similar to Clive. I don't know. There's a lot of different hair colors going on in this family, that's for sure. We've got Clive and Elwyn who look the same. Joshua's a redhead because of the Phoenix. And then we've got the blonde Annabella. And then Jill is in here looking mighty similar to Clive and Elwyn. But, okay, there's our characters. It's good to learn about them. Because I was like, who the hell is this character? And now I guess I have some sort of an idea. We have the best lore entry of all time. Torgal. This needed to be flashing on the screen in the middle of the cutscene going, lore! Active time event! Active time lore! Hey, quick! Dog! Clive's faithful friend, brought back from one of Archduke Elwyn's expeditions to the frozen Northern Territories, where he was found half-starved and shivering in a snowfield, having presumably been separated from his pack. Elwyn gifted the puppy to Clive upon his return, and the two became nigh inseparable. Dog companion. Another one. 2 adoptions from the northern regions. Dog lore. I cannot wait to see how this is going to progress later. So if you missed the brand from the previous segment, it pops up again for you. And we've got Bearer, a person with the power to cast magics without a crystal. In Valisthea, men and women who awaken as bearers are enslaved. They are marked with a brand upon their cheek and used as tools, a cheaper alternative to the scarce and precious shards. This system of slavery has persisted for centuries and has become so ingrained in Valisthean life that few take pity upon the bearer's plight, seeing them as less than human. So, There you go. That explains a little bit more about the brand. They are bearing this mark. And many see them as less than human, which... there you go. So we see Clive go from not having one to having one. We've got quite a story ahead for Clive Rossfield, I think. The Deadlands, barren wastes bereft of aether where no life stirs and magic is all but unusable. Here, both earth and water are stained black, preventing any seed from quickening. In recent years, the blight has spread ever more widely, displacing whole nations before it, driving once peaceable fauna to violent desperation and leaving silent devastation in its wake. Interesting development is in the middle of cutscenes. You can have a character's information update. At least it does have like the blue notification next to it, but a character's description can update in the middle of a cutscene as well. Duchess of Rosaria. So we've had this already, but it was not only her beauty, but her connection to a bloodline that produced many previous dominants of the Phoenix that led to her being proposed as a bride for the young Archduke. Indeed, the two are cousins. Having known from a young age that her purpose in life was to preserve her Phoenix-bearing bloodline, she dotes on Joshua and scorns Clive. So being the Duchess of Rosaria and the cousin of Elwyn, keeping that Phoenix bloodline in the family. God damn. Sweet home Rosaria. That is Game of Thrones. Once again, we do have a very Game of Thronesy type deal going on. And I mean, you could tell that from the very first trailer that was ever revealed. Like, you look at that and you're like, okay, Final Fantasy Game of Thrones, that's the vibe I get. And that's the vibe we are given. In more ways than one. This is one that I'm really looking forward to reading because we've pointed out and noticed a little red dot by the moon here. So I'm curious. Nice. They're not praying to the moon. It's the burning red star that they're praying to. So praying to Metia. The burning red star that sits beneath the moon. Folklore ascribes to Metia the role of message bearer to the moon. So it is common custom across Valistea to wish upon the star that one's heartfelt desires might be conveyed to the heavens and beyond. I really am curious about what we're going to do with space. We've got some cool, like, we got a burning red star that's just close to the moon. Okay, you know, they've done some crazy stuff with planets in Final Fantasy before. Namely, I think about the moon in Final Fantasy VIII, which was so awesome. That was such a great endgame moment that I'm like, mysteries of the realm, huh? Mysteries of the realm. I'll be curious to see if that gets expanded upon. The Northern Territories, a bitterly cold region in the northern reaches of the continent of Storm. It was originally home to the mother crystal known as Drake's Eye, around which a series of small nations sprang up. Nations whose belligerence proved troublesome for Rosaria over the centuries. In time, however, the Mother Crystal's power dwindled, and with it the power of these warlike nations. With the Blight encroaching on their territory ever more, the remaining tribes were united and pacified by Archduke Elwyn Rosfeld of Rosaria in the year 854. Which is probably could be around the time that we had, like, Jill come in, maybe. But maybe Jill came in first and then the dog came after, because the dog is clearly very young. Not 6 years young, as this is still 860. But I'll be curious to know, because it doesn't really state, like, the year. It does say she was raised alongside Clive and Joshua. So she was made a ward of Rosaria after her homeland's incessant raids were quelled. Yeah, so I think 6 years ago. So she would have been like, I don't know how old she is compared to Clive. Clive would have been 9 6 years ago. So that kind of makes sense. We have Ambrosia, Clive's chicken. Look at his beautiful chicken. God, the chocobos do look good. The designs are great. I mean, you never really need to change them much. That's how it's very simple. I remember just when I got to see them for the first time in Final Fantasy 15, and I was like blown away. Luminous Engine was troublesome, but it was still very, very pretty. Ambrosia, born in the stables of Rosalith Castle, Ambrosia was chosen by the young Clive Rosfeld to be his personal steed and raised by him from a chick. She is a proud bird and deeply loyal to her master, quickly turning her beak upon any, but he who should attempt to pet her. Okay. But he who should attempt to pet her. Right, Ambrosia. Cool. And that'll about do it for the lore that we missed out on in this first segment of the game. The active time lore comes in quite late into my experience, unfortunately, and then it's one that, like, you have to remind yourself you can activate this during cutscenes whenever you want. So there's a lot of background information to learn about, which is very good, and I wanted to make sure that it was included and that we went over it. Now, in the next episode, I have already recorded and played the next episode, so again, all of the lore that we have read in this little segment, I am not aware of in the next episode, so I don't have any of that context. So just for your consideration, if there's any inconsistencies in terms of maybe if I am unsure or I ask a question about something during it, I'm not sure, I might. That's because I haven't read these yet, if that makes sense. So a little bit of inconsistency between these two episodes, but that's what happens when I find out about just how detailed the ATL actually is during the demo. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing this apparent person or sort of location where we're able to properly look through all of our lore and information, but that will just have to come in the main game. Thank you so much for joining me for part 1 of Final Fantasy 16, and I hope you enjoy part 2.